Hello and merry 8th day of Christmas in this 12 Days of Christmas series where I talk about and share different graces and gifts that God gave me every month of my Jesus year. Today we're going to talk about the month of August. And in the month of August, we had a great gift of putting together a little play at my Newman Center. And it was such a great gift because it was a collaborative effort of making art with a group of performing artists and visual artists. And it was my first time directing. And it was a lot of our first time doing something to that degree. I guess it was like full on community theater feeling. And there were approximately 100 reasons why I wanted to do a play this year. I think number one, earlier in the year, I had gone to the Jubilee of Artists and I felt so convicted to continue to make art and work with artists. Number two, I was around a number of people who had experience in the performing arts and I felt, the time was ripe to collaborate with those people and to really call on the gifts that they have and to bring it to the forefront for this fundraiser. Number three, there was a number of people who I invited to audition and be a part of it who had gone through their own tragedies in the previous year. And because it was the Jubilee of Hope, I wanted them to have an opportunity to experience making art as a form of grief intervention. That's something that I did with my psychology degree, was write grief interventions for particular populations experiencing grief. And art therapeutic practices were part of it. And I wanted to invite people into making art as a part of their grieving process and as a way of trying to hold on to hope. Next, another reason I was thinking of making art in this grand way was 2024 to 2025 was really the year of AI. And as I saw the emerging technologies, and especially since there's so much that copies art in an algorithmic way, I saw and still see the need to continue to make art which can't be replaced by technology. What else? I saw that as a sort of revolution against the AI revolution. And I think the arts and the humanities are going to preserve us and our humanity. So I just wanted to invite people into making art and experiencing art and going to a show. I love the performing arts. Another reason is because my community was so affected by the fires that I wanted to do something to bring them a little joy. It was not high art. This was not any social commentary on thing. It was a simple British farce murder mystery. It was dinner theater. It was very lighthearted, and I felt our community could use that. Those are just a few of the reasons that I wanted to put on a play, and this play was called Miss Glossop Comes to Tea, and it was a cast of 10. And exactly 10 people auditioned, exactly what we needed. 7 women and 3 men auditioned for this little play put on by the Newman Center. And it was such a great gift. And the gift that it was for me personally was that after the fire relief, which demanded everything that I had, every gift, every skill, every connection, there was not a single part of my life that wasn't touched because of the fire relief and what God accomplished and how I responded to God's grace in my life. And it was so demanding, in both a painful way, but also a very fulfilling way, that I confided to my closest friends that I felt maybe I would never do something so meaningful ever again, that maybe that was the most meaningful thing I would ever do. And after putting on the play, I shared the same sentiment. I said, wow, it was like fire relief. It demanded so much of me. It demanded all these different parts. And it was so fun to draw forth all these different ways that I like to serve, working with people, inviting people to do something they love, bringing joy to my community, using social media, using a lot of creativity. And it was just an overall very fun process, but also still demanding process. It was just very fulfilling to make art and invite others to make art. And again, it wasn't high art. We weren't going for the Tonys here, but everyone who was involved in it had a meaningful experience because, especially performing art, it demands that you give of yourself. When you give of yourself to collective thing, like trying to make a successful play and fundraiser and dinner theater, it's fulfilling. And to see a whole group of people who wouldn't otherwise be together in the same room and have a joint mission to make something beautiful and comical and lighthearted and fun was an amazing experience. And God gave me the gift of those people and that play in this way in my Jesus year. Praise God for what we accomplished together with that play and the very successful fundraiser. And most of all, art making in a grieving community. So that was my August, and I'll see you next time for the 9th day of Christmas.